All right, welcome back to Fiegel Files, where we break down the law of life and strength, and they all collide. Today's episode is about strength, physical, mental, and professional. Whether you're an athlete, entrepreneur, or someone navigating tough seasons, this episode explores how consistency, accountability, and mental toughness carry over from the gym to life and business. Our guest is a highly accomplished competitive strength athlete who found her passion 25 years ago. She's a mom, a previous correctional officer for Texas Department of Criminal Justice. I'm excited to talk about that. And recently retired to devote her time to her passions. She's competed in strongman, powerlifting, arm lifting,
I've done arm wrestling too.
And arm lifting, and MAS wrestling, which cost me a win at one of her shows. She is a 10-time world champion, 11-time national champion, holds several national and world records in powerlifting. She's participated in over 100 competitions. I'm on my 12th. She is also the force behind Relentless Strengths and Promotions, where she hosts strength competitions across the state of Texas. Today we'll learn more about her journey through strength, sports, competition, and entrepreneurship. We're breaking down what it takes to not just compete at a high level, but to build something meaningful and impactful from it. Jade Dickens, welcome to Fiegel Files.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm. I met you January of 2023, I want to say.
Yeah.
At Shark Fest, which you're doing this weekend, right?
Yes, coming up.
Mm-hmm. You were very nice, and reason I wanted to have you on is to say thank you. I've gotten to enjoy strongman over the last 3.5 years, and I understand that the sport I like now, including strongman, powerlifting, all of it, was built by people who pioneered it. So thank you for being a part of that and building it for others, because it didn't happen by accident. You know, people had to make that happen. How many competitions a year do you put on?
Oh.
For all the sports?
I think it was at 26 last year.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I try to do 2 a month. And most of the time, what I did last year is I started combining powerlifting and strongman together on the same day. And so we also developed a kids strongman league, which has really taken off, and the kids are really enjoying that. It's called Strong Foundations Youth Strongman League, and I'm opening it. It's open from 3 years old to 19 years old.
That's awesome.
Even though the federations start with some of the kids at 13, 14, I still want an opportunity for the kids that aren't at like a Bubba Pritchard type level.
Yeah, those OG kids are crazy.
Yeah, not every kid has the opportunity to have a strongman as a father, or a strongman as a mother.
A major strongman as a father.
A major, yeah. And so I want to keep it flexible for children. We do lightweight, heavyweight, and it has nothing to do with their body weight.
Okay.
So when I put out, like we do on strongman, we put out the initial weights that you're going to be lifting. That is what it's based off of. Where's your capability?
Okay.
Are you more capable on the lightweight? Or are you more capable on the heavyweight? Because an 8-year-old, there's such a drastic
difference, right?
In genetics at that point in time. And, you might have a kid that's 8 years old, or I had one that was 10, and he competed with the 13-year-olds because that's how big he was.
Yeah, right.
And he could do those numbers. And so that really made me look at how we do the kids' strongman a little differently. And one of the big things as well is I do not want to put the pressure of weight classes on kids.
Oh gosh, no. It's bad enough for adults who sweat it out and weight cut and use diuretics. Yeah.
Well, I was a high school powerlifting coach.
Oh wow. Okay.
You see, there's so much stuff you don't know about.
I don't know. That's why we're here. Yeah.
And my girls won this Texas State Championship in 2009.
Wow.
We won a national championship with USAPL in 2013.
That's really cool.
And so I did not like watching those kids struggle with and especially with girls, and boys too. I had to learn that, a lightweight boy did not like being a lightweight boy.
No.
And so I had to learn both of the differences between the boys and the girls. But, I don't want my 105er to think that she has to, she walks around comfortably at 110 pounds, but she wants to cut 5 pounds. But that's not, you can't do that.
No.
That's a lot.
Not in high school. Not when you're developing.
School.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did not want to start putting that pressure, because I know they do that in some football leagues is, if your kid is over 90 pounds, he's going to play up or something of that nature. I can understand why they're doing that, but I don't want that pressure on kids. No. It's not their time for that yet.
And honestly, you may disagree. You know a lot more about it than me, but I'm not a huge fan of like a lot of weight classes anyway. Like, I don't know that it's a measure. I don't know that per pound is a better measure of strength than just how much you can pick up off the floor. There's a correlation, but it's not a 1-to-1 correlation, if that makes sense.
Right.
So I know you're more of a power lifter than strongman.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I get it. So I'm probably not speaking your language too much, but I do agree. There's too much pressure, even on adults. Like a lot of danger comes from cutting.
It really does.
Yeah.
I've seen, because my basis is powerlifting, and strongman actually got me into strength sports.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So I was a lieutenant or a captain? I was a captain at the Hughes unit in Gatesville. That's how my husband and we ended up in Gatesville. We are from East Texas. We're from the Palestine-Tyler area.
I actually lived in White House, Texas for 5 years.
That is crazy.
Yeah, that's serious.
No way. Well, and I know we're 10 years apart, at least.
Yep.
And I actually went to first grade through fourth grade at White House.
Wow. Yeah, so I would have been there second through sixth, and whatever that year is for me. I'm 40, would turn 41 this year. I can't do the math, but in the 90s at some point. But yeah.
Yesterday was my birthday, so I just turned 52. So.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
So I was already gone by then, way
probably,
gone. Yeah. But it's funny how those things, overlap. But yeah, that's how so with the penitentiary is what brought my husband and I to the Gatesville area. I got promoted to lieutenant at the Hughes unit in 99, and we've just stayed there. We love Gatesville. It's a wonderful little community. And one day he and I were watching Strongman because, it's fun.
Just like the old World's Strongest Man?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Just, but they had the women doing it. You didn't know that, did you?
They had, for World's Strongest Man, they had a woman's.
They sure did. And they televised it.
I don't know. Why don't I even know this? That's unfortunate. Was it like SPD, like the actual World's Strongest Man, the same organization doing it?
It's the same.
Where did it go?
Just unfortunately, like everything else, there wasn't enough viewership.
That's too bad, because it's a huge part of the strongman community now.
Do you know that you have the world's strongest woman living here in San Antonio from 2001, 2002, 2004?
I don't. Who is it?
It's Jill Mills.
Oh, I didn't know who Jill Mills was, but I didn't know that she did that.
Yes.
Wow, I know who she is. I've met her once. Like, I know I forgot the name of the gym.
She's very quiet about her accomplishments.
That's crazy.
But in the early 2000s, she ruled the world.
That's unbelievable. Wow.
And I watched her in World's Strongest Man, and she was 5'4", weighed 185 pounds.
And was winning.
And was from San Antonio, Texas.
That's hilarious.
I was I looked at my husband and I went, I want to do that.
Because you think of the athletes who are dominating the women's sport now, they're not 5'4", 180 pounds right now.
Nope. Yeah. And so that kind of gave me an idea of you can go out there and do this. And she and I were relatively the same age. She's like a year or two older than me.
So you were already done with your career before you decided to get into strength sports?
No.
Okay, sorry, help me out. So 99, You're here in Gatesville.
So, 99, we moved to Gatesville, and I was a lieutenant at the Hughes unit, and I worked.
So you're mid-20s right now?
I was 26.
Okay, so yeah, all right.
Yeah, 26, and so I had always been a little bit above average strength.
Sure.
And I was a farm girl.
There you go.
Raised on farms. threw bags of feed around and hay and all that good stuff, wrestled with horses and all that stuff, and I'll never forget, I was in 6th grade in Troop, Texas, of all the places. And I went to 13 different schools growing up.
Wow, way more than me. Okay.
Well, and then mine wasn't military, but we moved 18 times before I was 5. So
life, it happens.
Yeah. So we had one of the football coaches for our PE class.
Okay.
And he had us in there benching on just one of those machines.
Okay. Yeah.
And so it was all us girls, and he had us in there. And I'll be danged, at 12 years old, I benched 120 pounds.
There you go.
And I outbenched everybody.
I bet.
And so that kind of lives in my mind rent free for my whole entire life. And it just sat there, and I've always enjoyed the weight room, always enjoyed lifting weights. Mm-hmm. And at 9, when I worked night shift, me and some of my sergeants, when everything was quiet and everybody was in bed, we would go to the weight room and start lifting weights. And so we did that quite regularly. And then there was a Special Olympics bench press competition that come up. And in Gatesville, there's like 7 prison units. Yeah. And so we're kind of like our own little community out there. And 6 of them are female, 1 of them is male. I was working at the male unit at the time. Mm-hmm. And so the rules, just like anything else, was you have to have your 1 female on your team in order, for the team participation. So at that point in time, there was only 5 females that was working in corrections at the Hughes unit at that point in time. That's the only, at Hughes, there was plenty of us all everywhere else. But at that particular unit, because everybody else went down the hill. They went down to the female units and worked. Yeah. And so I got to be the woman. And
they lucked out.
So they did. They actually did. And we did the competition, and I benched 185 pounds.
Okay. Wow.
And that was kind of the beginning of it, because it all correlated. Jill was on TV doing her thing with World's Strongest Woman. Mm-hmm. And I had that Special Olympic powerlifting meet, and I had heard of a powerlifting team on Fort Hood. And so I went down, Scotty and I took a day.
That's not too far from you, from Gatesville, right?
Oh, gosh, no. It's like 20 miles.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's right there. Yeah.
Yeah, we literally live North Fort Hood.
Oh.
Where North Fort Hood is. I mean, we hear the bombings and all that good stuff.
So, yeah.
It rattles our door, it rattles our windows
I love it.
And everything. So it's the sound of freedom.
I love it.
So we went down to we come down here to San Antonio and actually met Jill, and she, we went out to her house and saw their implements and everything. And like I said, this is the early 2000s. None of this stuff is in the gyms.
No.
And you would have to create everything yourself.
That's crazy.
And so I told my husband, I said, we live in little old Gatesville. I said, I think it would be a little tough for me to do that. I'd heard about a powerlifting team on Fort Hood. I said, let me check into that. And as soon as I did, that's where it took off.
That's crazy.
And I've been, Johnny Graham was the vice president of USA Powerlifting, and I did not know that Colleen was a huge mecca of powerlifting.
I didn't either.
We host world events there. We're actually going to have military nationals there in March, and we're going to have high school nationals at the end of March.
Oh, that's really cool.
We'll all be there in Colleen. And so, so it took a life of its own.
Yeah.
And my oldest daughter was a freshman. And of course, she did powerlifting. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I want to be able to help. And I want to spend more time with her. And so I went to work for the school. And I left the prison. I retired as a major. Okay. And so then I went into the public school and coached for 8 years. I did, when you're a 3A, this is back when we only had the 5A, mm-hmm. and we were a 3A school. We were a small 3A school. And so everybody did everything. You coached, you taught, you picked up UILs,
Did you have to coach more than one sport?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
I
I
figured,
coached
yeah.
volleyball, basketball,
I got you. Yeah, yeah.
pole vault, in track. I'm like, do you see me getting? There's no way.
This is before YouTube too, so you can't just like, how do I see a pole vault? Yeah.
It was. I relied on the kids a lot to teach
bet,
me
yeah.
how to do pole vault.
I love it.
That was
Like
definitely
Ted
something.
Lasso in a sport you don't know, just trying to.
Yeah, just trying to make it through.
That's hilarious.
And as long as I could get those kids to have enough confidence to get up and over that bar,
I'll pass. I'm good.
we won.
There you go.
You know, we won. So we did good. We did good. And then powerlifting was what brought me on.
Okay.
You know,
yeah.
so I was able to coach girls powerlifting for 8 years, and that was a tremendous experience. So I kind of backed off of my training a little bit, but I still tried to get in as much as what I could, and was still, you know, going to nationals and things like that. And then I started taking the kids with me. We've been to Idaho, Orlando, Cleveland, just all over the United States. And I was able to take some of these kids on their first airplane ride.
Wow, that's cool.
I was able to take some of them to their first time they've ever seen the ocean, you know. And
Probably
and
meeting some international competitors too, like, you know.
we did.
Yeah.
I actually, I took a group of girls. We've been to Denmark,
Wow.
and we've been to Sweden and Canada.
Wow.
So-
That's really cool.
So
That's
a couple of
experiences
those.
they'll just have to cherish
Oh,
forever.
yeah.
And
Absolutely.
expand their brains and horizons.
Absolutely. And then, like, to this day, they travel.
Good.
Yeah.
They should.
So
That's
I love that. And
Yeah.
that was I was I was in my 30s when I did that. It was a wonderful time of my life. It was very stressful, very stressful, but I will never, you know, think bad of. As a matter of fact, you know, the kids, I still have relationships with several of those kids that were on my powerlifting team.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're not in strength sports anymore, but they're still around, and it's awesome to have that friendship, especially once you're no longer responsible for them.
I would have to, how I feel about it, I've never had the opportunity to coach, but I would ask you the difference in satisfaction when you hit a PR or a record or win versus when you're coaching somebody.
No, it's absolutely the coaching.
Yeah.
That's something, me personally, watching someone else that I have helped along the way be successful means more to me than my own personal stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just, even if we're friends, you know, I don't have anything to do with your training, but watching you be successful in something that just brings a lot of joy to me personally.
It's shared. You can feel it. So
Yeah.
I sought you out at OSG for a familiar face, and I hope it's okay to an older sister to hang out with. So I was like,
not
I
a
loved
problem.
it.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah,
That's
no.
what I'm here for. Oh, I
Yeah.
had a horrible performance at OSG. Oh, yeah, I was not pleased.
I watched the most I could. I hope that's okay. I was in my own world down there, but yeah. So what do you do today? Like, what's your days like today? I know you're obviously putting on competitions. Like I don't know, if someone said, Jade, what do you do today? How do you answer the question? Because I know you hands in a lot of pots. So.
Well, after public school, I went back into the penitentiary into education.
Okay.
And so I spent the last little bit, and I was very smart. My husband and I made some very smart financial choices back when we were younger that allowed me to retire at 50. I didn't move my retirement, and so
I did the opposite, so anyway. No, that's what it is.
No, leave it in. You never know.
Divorce, man, it's different.
Oh,
so,
that is different. Yeah, that does suck.
It's all good. Better now. You've met my wife. So
Oh, yeah. Now, I haven't met your previous one, but
No.
I'm quite certain this
Not
is...
going to talk ill, but I'm happier today.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's all that matters.
Better match. We'll say it
That's
that
all
way.
that matters.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
There you go.
That's perfect. But yeah, that made the decision back whenever I left the penitentiary to leave my retirement in there.
Okay.
And what TRS retirement was allowed to put into my ERS. And I was allowed to retire at 50 with
Good.
health benefits and a pension check that will last me the rest of my life.
That's great.
And so now I just promote shows exclusively.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a gym? How does your workout? Do you have a gym you work out at? Do you own a gym? You work out at home?
And I don't. So I do a lot of traveling. So
Sure.
I am in, like today, I'm down
Right.
here in San Antonio.
Yeah.
So I went to heavy metal. Yesterday, I was at a place called Brick House in
Okay.
Denton
Yeah.
because I was up there babysitting my grandbaby. So and then the day before that, I went to the Anytime Fitness in Sanger. And the day before that, I was at the Anytime Fitness in Gatesville. So I find a place to train
Yeah.
no matter where I'm at.
Do you have a coach? Do you have someone's programming?
I
for
do
you?
have a coach. His
Okay.
name is Joey Lucero. He is out of Mansfield.
Okay.
And he's strictly online.
Still, though, you got someone
But
programming you and knowing-
absolutely, because I tried doing that. I've owned a gym. I've done personal training. I've done, the programming and things like that. That's just not my thing. I find a lot more joy out of hosting the shows
Yeah.
than personal training and stuff like that. So I'm like, I have to have somebody. My husband's like, you can write your own programs. I'm like, yeah, I can write my own programs. I know what I'm doing, but I don't want to.
Well, there's that, and then I mean, maybe you're past this point. I know for me, and even Austin would say the same thing. Like someone watching your weaknesses, someone pushing you through where you maybe wouldn't have gone to, or holding you back in a place where you need to heal or be smart or change the stimulus. I mean, Coach, it's invaluable to me. It just is a game changer. I'm sure I could conceive of it. I can Google and figure out, and I'm smart, but nothing would replace. Austin's my coach. Like, nope, nothing would replace him next to me or watching videos like, this is where you're at. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna pull back on the weights or time to be aggressive. It just is different, and I don't care what level you're at.
No,
No,
it does not matter what level you're at.
Yeah.
The way you perceive your body is not what others can see.
Yeah.
You can look at that video over and over again. You can feel it, but an outside eyes is going to look at and say, hey, did you know that your right foot is turned out just a bit?
Mm-hmm.
If you turn it back in, you'll get a little bit more power.
There you go. Yeah.
Bring that elbow up. Those are the little things that make you better.
Mm-hmm.
And self-evaluation is not, we're not always honest with ourselves.
No, even if it's not malicious, it's just hard to.
Yeah.
For me, it's the weight selection too. There's been times where he's like, time to push it. And then last night we had a deadlift session and he's like, you're done. I can see you're done. Like, you don't have it today. Like, it is what it is. So, yeah.
You're correct.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, as we age, we are then looking at something totally different because your rest time between sets needs to be longer.
Mm-hmm.
Your recovery time, you have got to take recovery extremely seriously.
Yeah.
And I know back in my 30s when, I 4 or 5 hours of sleep, I'm good, half-ass eating, I lived on, and I still do live on energy drinks. And yep.
One a day. It's okay.
No, I'm way more than that. I live on caffeine.
Yeah.
And I didn't take that kind of stuff seriously back in my 30s.
Yeah.
I had so many other things going on. I was a wife. I was a mother.
Mm-hmm.
I was coaching and teaching.
Full-time job, all that. Yeah.
Everything. So you don't have that time. As I got older, my kids got older. Didn't need me as much. And one of the things that I had to finally stop doing and have a very deep conversation with my own self and to be very honest with myself. About 10 years ago, maybe a little bit more than that, I made a New Year's resolution, which I don't like them, but I had to stop stopping because I'd go really good and really hard for 3 or 4 months, and then I would lay off for a month or two, and I called myself an 85%er. Because I was still winning national championships. Mm-hmm. I was still placing the podium and all that good stuff with only 85%, what I felt was 85% of potential, and effort. And I was like, if I truly want to meet my goals, I've got to find that other 15%.
And that 15% is not effort in the gym. That's what I would, and I think this is my much shorter journey so far. Like, do a novice show. Okay, cool. You've tried hard. You're there. Go, but whatever. From this USS to Strongman Corp, or go to Open, or go to like a Texas Strongest. Every level, it's like, okay, that was great. Look at the things they're doing. If you want to be at their level, then they go to OSG, and it's like, well, never mind. But no, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, like, what are they doing? Like, so now it's adding like sprints. Now it's adding more in the recovery. Really looking at the diet more intentionally. Drinking. I mean, I'm a gallon and a half of water a day. Stuff like that. I'm bigger. A little different.
Well, that is so true, and that was one of the things that I had to become. I was winning.
Yeah.
So there wasn't really, much of why do I need to continue to push myself, and then COVID happened, and my USAPL separated from the IPF, which that took out all of our international traveling, because I was doing nothing but international competitions.
Yeah.
I would do our nationals, which of course would then in turn, qualify me, and I won. So it's like kind of like, you're at your top. What's the need to push any further? And once you hit international level, there is other people out there in the world that are stronger than you. And so, but I was still podium. I was still getting in the podium. And so it was that there was not that drive to push me to make me better. And so I had to find it.
Yeah.
And once COVID hit, the international travel was taken away. I was going to Underground Performance in Waco, and that's where I could find people that could handle, lifting off for me, helping me put my bench shirt on, or raw benching, and all of those things. So I would travel 40 minutes to go to this gym to be able to have people surrounded by the people that could help me be better.
Yeah.
That's planning. You had to plan, especially when you're an equipped power lifter.
I would imagine.
That's difficult.
Different level skill, different skill set, different,
and the equipment is just makes things much more complicated.
Yeah.
And, let's not get into that controversy, but to me, they're two totally separate things. Equipped powerlifting, multiply versus raw, they're all three different.
What's the controversy in your mind? Just people who say it's not real?
Oh my gosh, yes. People call, especially since raw blew up back from 2008, everybody is like, equipped powerlifting it's unfortunately, it's kind of dying.
Yeah.
And, but single ply is just one of the neoprene layers, and then multiply, you have 2 layers, 3 layers, or unlimited.
Yeah.
And those things are huge, and that's what Jerry Coble, yeah, I think that's what his name is. He benched like 1,500.
Right, yeah.
Or 1,300.
Something like that.
Because Tiny did 12 something. And they're multiply guys.
Yeah.
And I watched Blaine Sumner bench 1,000 in a single ply. And those are, I benched 455 in single ply.
It's a big difference. Yeah.
It's a huge difference.
But it's still a skill set. Like it's the blood pressure, the tendons, it's not doing it for you. So for strongman, the only equipped we really get is I guess if you count straps, but the deadlift suits.
The deadlift suits.
And sometimes squats if they have squats, that's rare. But
yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a huge difference for squat. Suit helps you out quite a bit. Suits and wraps. Deadlift, you don't get a whole heck of a lot out of that deadlift suit. Yeah. I prefer to deadlift in a deadlift suit mainly because it makes my hips feel more secure.
Fair.
And a little bit more secure in the lower back.
Yeah.
But other than that, you may get 20, 30 pounds out of a deadlift suit to add to your already max. So deadlift is kind of...
I think I'm getting in the 70, 100 range out of it, but I will say part of it is I'm in my back a lot when I'm raw. And it's like my middle back's kind of pulling. It's hard to get in position. The deadlift suit pulls me into position. And then, as off the floor is where the deadlift suit's most of the benefit.
Exactly.
And so and in the strongman, you don't have, you can hitch or you can ramp it up your legs. So,
yeah.
Once we get it to our legs, we're good. I had a terrible session last night. I put the suit back on, first time since OSG, and I didn't realize it wasn't like fully all the way on, and I'm getting down and I can't breathe. So we stopped about 40 pounds where we were going to, trying to get ready for your show, by the way.
Yeah.
That's what we're prepping. Which, by the way, we have to figure out how you can let me set both records, because that's what we're trying to do. So
Okay.
Yep.
So
I want the
open
Masters and the Open
Masters.
275. Yep.
All
there
right.
we go.
We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it. No. I don't like that there's controversy. My understanding is equipped powerlifting was the thing up until like the 2000s. Like
Yeah,
that was
it
kind
was
of a more that was just weightlifting. Like it wasn't even thought of, as I understand.
Yeah, when I started in the early 2000s, there was no raw division.
Okay, wow.
You had to lift in equipment.
Yeah.
And now granted, back then the equipment wasn't as good as what it is now.
Sure.
But yeah, there was no raw. Raw came on right around 2008, kind of when CrossFit kind of where's the salt? Let me throw it over my shoulder. Not a big fan at all. And when that started really pushing, and that's when raw powerlifting, where the federations kind of started bringing that in.
Yeah, but now it's like accepted. It's
oh my
just,
gosh,
it's all
yes.
raw. Yeah.
I'm lucky if I get 1 or 2 equipped lifters in my 50-person powerlifting meets.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you on conventional versus sumo?
They're both legit. They're both legit lifts. You're pulling it off the ground.
I agree. I think it's 2 different lifts, but I agree.
It's kind of like the arch in the bench. It's range of motion.
There you go.
And so I think the controversy is silly.
Yeah.
It's you're pulling it off the ground.
It's when I think you get the people that get very flexible. They can get very wide. The toes are almost at there, and they're using like a kabuki bar. So by the time it's lifted, it's like a 3-inch range of motion. And you're like, all right, bro.
But it's within the rules.
It's within the rules. Well, that's the part. The athlete's not the problem. If you have a problem with it, go to the federation and say separate them or ban it or whatever. But that's not on the athlete.
Yeah. It's like with the arch. You've seen some of these women, and I've seen men.
Men too.
Have this just humongous arches, and they're benching this far.
Yeah.
They're benching 2 inches off their chest, and I'm like, man, I could bench so much more if I could do that, but I don't have that flexion. So it's if the rules allow it, let it be.
I get it. That's why I like strongman though. It's a lot simpler. Just pick up the rock and move it, That's true. That's true. But one of the things that I learned transitioning from powerlifting into strongman was there is a lot of technique. Oh, for sure.
There's a lot of technique that needs to be learned in your log pickup, in your stone pickup, in your axle. I mean, your yoke. I mean, there is and I guess that's why I have moved away from powerlifting. As a matter of fact, last year I didn't do any powerlifting whatsoever. My last powerlifting meet was I did a bench press worlds in Lincoln, England, back in October of 24.
Okay.
And so I benched 355, I believe. Yeah.
Raw?
No, it was equipped. It's equipped.
Bitch, man. That's crazy.
Well, my raw bench at one point in time was 315.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But I worked so hard for it.
Yeah.
I've worked 20 years for it.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things that, my husband has been working out now for about 6 months.
Oh yeah.
And he just hit a 235 bench. And it's like, that is awesome. That is great.
Yeah.
But you've been doing it for 6 months, and he was like, I think I can finally outbench you now. And I'm like, sure, sir, but you took 6 months to get there. It took me 20 years to get there. So the difference.
He's a big guy, right? Is he taller? A bigger guy?
He's 6 foot. He's not small,
Yeah.
So, but lifting has never been his thing. It's always been my thing.
Yeah.
And he is the backbone of my business. He is the worker bee of it all. We build a lot of our own equipment, especially with the kids stuff. And,
that's really cool. Yeah.
You're constantly always repairing equipment and upkeep. And like this weekend, we've you've got to load the truck, you got to unload the truck, you got to make sure you have everything ready, because that's kind of like my niche, is that I take my equipment to other gyms around the state. Mm-hmm. And people hire me to come in and host powerlifting and strongman competitions
really cool.
at their place. So I go all the way up to Dallas, go all the way down. We're going to be in Corpus Christi this weekend. And I do host several there in Gatesville. I host 4 a year in Gatesville, powerlifting and strongman, kids, and arm lifting, and whatever else wants to come in.
That's really cool. You get good equipment too. Like you have a Hercules hold, I think, this weekend, if I remember right.
I do. That was the newest piece of equipment we just bought.
I'm sad I'm not doing it. Yeah, I'm sad I'm not doing it, but I'm doing yours in February, and then I'm doing Texas Strongest 5 weeks after that.
I have the Hercules hold is in our one.
Oh, is it in there? Oh, that's
the winter
right.
record.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm for the winter record, I'm bringing out all my big pieces.
Do you call it Conan's wheel or Wheel of Pain? The one you're pushing, right? Aren't we doing that?
I'm going to buy a Conan's wheel this weekend. So
I hate that stupid event.
You didn't like the Wheel of Pain either.
I would have probably preferred that.
Yeah.
So I'm just still got to work on it. Anything on my chest, I hate front carry. Period.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, that's me being out of shape. So.
That's the cardio aspect of it, and just all that weight sitting on your chest. It's just, I completely agree, because my cardio is shit.
Me and Austin have been sprinting the last 4 weeks. We're doing it every week leading up to his Arnold's. He's doing the Arnold's March 6th.
Right.
And that's us working together, because I'm bad at it and he's bad at it. So that's what we're doing there.
And that's the aspect of strongman you have to have.
Yeah.
Because, you can be strong in static lifts, and but if you can't move, you're not placing.
I think probably one of my favorite elements of the strongman is it's not fully standardized. Like, you're right, there's technique, but every log is gonna be a little different. Like, we go to OSG, like one of the higher pinnacles, still different logs. I haven't touched that stupid log before, so I mean, that's just gonna have to figure it out. So I think if you do the exact same with the same calibrated equipment, sometimes it's not that it's not strength, it's just a different skill set going in.
Well, strongman was built on the idiosyncrasies of it come from,
like
the
circus
freak.
strongman.
Yeah, the freak shows. That's what I was trying to say.
It's cartoonish.
The freak show. It's cartoonish. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. The circus dumbbell, the yokes, the stones, all of that, was brought in because it was fun. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't standardized. And the longer I spend more time in strongman, the more I understand and respect the idea of everything being just one off. It's
a little bit,
nothing is going to be the same. And that's part of the strongman experience, is how do you adapt and overcome mentally when you get up there and that log is not a Bartos log.
Nope.
It's just a handmade log that is 2 or 3 inches deeper. The handles are 2 or 3 inches deeper inset.
Yeah.
And now you're pushing from a totally different angle. How do you handle that? Mm-hmm. How do you overcome that?
Yeah.
And so it's, or like the stones we had at OSG that unfortunately neither one of us got to try.
No, I didn't get there.
The natural stones, where do you pick it up at? What's the angle? There's, that is part of strongman, in my opinion. That's a part of it being,
I agree,
so fantastic, is that everybody's walking in not having a clue. Mm-hmm. And that's where the mental strategy of strongman comes in, is how mentally prepared are you to fail?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to walk in at 5 events and blow them out of the water. There's going to be 1 or 2 of those events that you are not going to be good at. Mm-hmm. Or one of your really good events, you just totally shit the bed.
Just doesn't happen. Yeah.
It just does not happen.
Yeah.
How do you overcome that, and how do you bounce back from that? And the most important thing that I can tell people is experience.
Yeah. Competitive experience is strongman, especially, is just something different. I've never done powerlifting, so I assume it's somewhat similar. But
it is.
Yeah, but I mean, the pacing, you won't get to warm up like you warm up. If you're maxing out, you thought about it for a week. You know what I mean? I'm dieting this week. I slept great the night before. I warmed up this way with this weight, this set. You might go from a Hercules hold to a deadlift, and you get like 3 reps.
Yeah.
Like, son of a, what the hell?
Yeah, it might be outside. It might be inside. You have the climate that you got to worry about.
Yeah.
What happens if you're inside and there's no air conditioning?
And
Deal
with it. It is what it is, right?
Yeah, it is what it is. And you've got to be prepared for that. And those are all mental strategies that you have to overcome.
Yeah.
And what I tell people is people want to go out there and do one competition a year to qualify for nationals.
Yeah.
And then you're doing 2 comps a year.
Yeah.
How are you building any resilience?
Right.
How are you building any mental strategy? How are you, preparing yourself for comp time decision making?
Yeah.
I highly believe everybody needs a handler.
Agreed.
You need a handler, whether it's strongman, whether it's powerlifting. You need somebody there that can call your numbers, that knows how to call numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the strategy of calling numbers, especially in powerlifting, it's a gift.
Yeah.
It is an absolute gift. Why you don't want to sit there and have to calculate what your opponent is doing, or 2 or 3 opponents, and what happens if they're a really good deadlifter, but you're a really good squatter. So you had to get all your numbers on the front end, and now you're waiting for this person to come in and pull 2-4 times their body weight and going to blow you out of the water.
Yeah.
So there's so much strategizing, and strongman is the same way.
Yeah.
Your 5th event is stones. Well, you're weak on stones. Well, but your overhead is great.
Yeah, you go.
So the strategy part of it is you've got to have somebody that you trust, that knows your potential, that knows you.
Yeah.
A coach, a friend,
all of it,
all of it, and can help take that mental stress off of you.
Yeah. You just go lift.
Yeah. You just go lift. And people will tell you, and I don't think they'll disagree with this, is that the coaching is actually more stressful on you.
I would imagine.
Than it is to lift.
Because he's out of your control, right? It's just you're watching your athlete.
Yeah, and you're loading weight. You're either, if it's powerlifting, you're wrapping knees, you're putting on suits, you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off. You got 5 events that you're preparing your athlete for. They need water, they need food, they need all this good stuff. And, you're trying to keep an eyeball on where they're at in the rotation, where they're at in, are they up? Have you warmed up? So there's so many things that a handler takes the stress off of you as an athlete on the day of competition.
Yeah.
I highly recommend going in, no matter if you're novice or if you're someone who has many years of experience.
Yeah.
Have somebody there to take that mental stress and take that mental load off of you.
Well, I mean, I know the pros that I work with, Tim and Nick, or Austin Nick, Tim calls their numbers.
Oh, yeah.
He does. These guys are elite. Nope, not even thought. Lucas Hatton, his coach, calls his number. It's
Absolutely.
Not even thought. And there aren't many better deadlifters or overhead pressers in the world than some of these guys. Doesn't matter. Coach is doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
That your coach is taking that responsibility.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what a mental case you would be if you had to call your numbers and compete?
No, I'll pass. Yeah.
So when I've done that, as far as I would have for whenever I take those kids to nationals and things like that, I would compete as well. And I slowly but surely learned my lesson that, it's either my kids compete and I coach, or I competed and the kids stayed home.
There you go. No, that's crazy.
Because it's hard to do both at the same time.
Yeah.
And to try to, get your own maximization out of all of it. It's not easy at all.
How'd it go with Tim today?
Wonderful.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did y'all work with log or axle or both?
Axle.
Okay.
Axle. Tim has got...
The clean or just the overhead or both?
A little bit of all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a good overhead presser,
You powerlifted too long.
I did. I really, really did. And bench does not translate into a good overhead.
Very little bit, but yeah.
No, I don't even know if it's the.
Depends on how good your thoracic is, right? Like if you can get the thoracic out really good, yeah.
I cannot. My mobility from all the years of benching has.
Oh, so you're here.
Yes, I mean, it's everything is here. You know, me trying to throw my. I mean, this is it. Trying to get something above my head is hard, and so that is the other thing. You know, for strongman is that I have. You know, if you want to be better, you've got to go search out those people that are better than you and that know what they're doing and can make you better. And so I drive from Gatesville down here to Tim to help me work on my overhead press.
That's cool. And,
you know, it's just things that you've got to do if you want to be better.
Oh, for sure. And like we said before we started, I'm spoiled. I get Tim, Austin, Nick,
whatever. Hush. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Yeah.
Come down anytime.
Oh, I'd love to be down here all the time, but
we're fun anyway.
Yeah, y'all are. Yeah, y'all are.
That's cool.
Yeah, Austin's coming this weekend to ref the Shark Frenzy for me.
Yeah.
So
again, I'd participate, but that only leaves me 4 weeks out, and I'm trying to set one of your records, so we'll see how that goes.
Yep.
If I even want to cut to 275, I don't really feel like it right now, so we'll find out.
We'll figure that out when we get there.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. Well, I was gonna see who participates too, because if there's only one in the master's class, then there's probably a way to do this without it being weird.
I've got.
You got some guys coming?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know Josh said he might, and then I don't know if Ian's how healed he is yet.
No, so. Ian has the Arnold.
He's going
to be at the Arnold the next weekend. Yeah.
Then good for him. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
So.
All right, so we said how you got involved in strength sports. Let's go to. She asks, what is your training philosophy when preparing for big meets or titles? I'll just say big meets. Any big meets. Do you have a philosophy separate?
I was thinking about that question. I'm going to be totally honest. I'm already preparing for the next competition.
Fair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm like, okay, I got to get this done. And I'm already on to what comp I'm going to start training for after that.
It's hard to explain to people, like, because I got into strongman by accident a little. I was about 350 pounds and like 45% body fat in 22. And my son wanted to go to a place called Philmont Scout Ranch. And for them, because it's like a 9-day backpacking only. And so my dad, my son, and me were going to go all together, like 3 generations. And they're like, this is 22, and I was going to go in 23. They're like, you have to meet certain physical requirements, and you're nowhere close. So it was a BMI, which I would never hit, even muscle-wise.
Yeah.
Or you could hit 15% body fat. And I'm like, well, I'm a long way from 15% body fat.
Wow, that's
low.
Tough.
That's bodybuilding low, right?
Yeah.
So I got on the journey and then did some online training with Travis Hortmeyer, ended up at Heavy Metal, and then just met Austin. It was like, it's just better with the coach in person. And then that was the trainer that kept me going. I got down to 17 and they let me go for that meet. And then briefly I was at like 14, and we aren't going to talk about where I'm at now. But it's more fun. 22, we'll be fine.
Well, that was the same for me.
Yeah.
In 21, I was 275 pounds. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, and that's when I was benching my heaviest. And
I mean, mass moves mass to a degree.
Yeah, mass move mass. You know, you say that, but then you have Jen Thompson, who's down there at less than 140 pounds, benching 315.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I started losing weight, and unfortunately, you know, some of my numbers did come down.
Yeah. Probably feel a lot better now, though.
You know, it really, people say that, but
okay.
I was so, I don't call myself athletic, but, you know, I never felt bad.
But you're performing great. I mean,
yeah, I'm still performing at peak performance. You know, some of the things that I have noticed over the time was I could cross my legs better. I could bend down and tie my shoes a little bit better.
There you go. Yeah.
You know, and then of course going into the strongman, losing the weight definitely helps because there's not that mass in the middle to get in the way.
Yeah.
You know, of course I got short bench press arms. And so, yeah.
And even if it's like a deadlift, it might be reps. It might not be a max. So the lower weight can help a little bit there too, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so when I got into it and I started competing, like for me, why I keep doing it, because I don't know that I would be disciplined enough to go to the gym just to be healthy. So, but if I know there's a competition coming up,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I mean, I cheat meals. I don't always sleep the right best, but generally, I'm on track and I'm not missing training sessions because I'm not gonna set a record. I'm not gonna win. I'm gonna get embarrassed. Like, no, we're not doing that. We're not gonna have a bad competition day, or if we are, we're gonna have no excuses. We're gonna push. So
And
that's what drives
one of the
me.
things.
Yeah.
That's one of the things with age that I've noticed is that we start concentrating more on our health.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think I'll ever stop competing. I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. I notice that if I will keep a competition on the books at least every 3 months, it keeps me motivated. It keeps me going to the gym. And, you know, one of your questions was about what keeps you motivated. That would be it.
Yeah.
But it's the discipline. Discipline is difficult.
It is.
Discipline is hard. That's where when you have had a bad day at work, or you know you didn't sleep well, but you still make the decision to go to the gym, and you don't have to put 110% in that session, but at least get in there and you're active and you're pushing towards something, because a little bit of something is a heck of a lot better than nothing.
I don't know if you're like this, but it's probably the biggest part of my mental health in general is my time at the gym. Time away, I'm pushing myself. I mean, let's state some obvious, just the health factors in general. You're getting blood flow and all of that, but just my mental health would be very different today if I didn't have an active gym.
Oh, I can talk for hours on that.
Okay.
Because, and then one of the things, as a woman, the confidence that lifting heavy brings to you, just for your mental health and your emotional health, it's astounding. You know,
I mean, I know it is for a male, so I mean, I can't speak for you, obviously, but
well, you know, women, our number one thing on a daily basis is our safety.
fair.
A woman wakes up in the morning and one of the first thoughts that run through her mind is, how am I going to be safe today?
Yeah.
You know, we have to make decisions. We can't just decide, you know, we're just going to willy-nilly go out there and go do whatever we want. You know, we have to make decisions about the safety for ourselves, the safety for our children, you know. And unfortunately, it's one of those things that you're kind of always looking over your shoulder to make sure things, you know, make sure you can take care of yourself in a situation.
Yeah.
Are you going to allow yourself to become a victim? You know, and once you start experiencing strength training, that builds that confidence where we're not ever going to be able, a woman is not going to be able to take on a man. And I mean, I can hold my own.
Fair, yeah.
You know, but ultimately it's just, you know, unless you're a highly specialized trained MMA,
Yeah.
you know, jiu-jitsu, something that you have really worked hard towards, it's, you know, a common average man is not going to be able to you know, overcome a woman who's a MMA trained fighter.
Right.
You know, but she will fatigue.
Yeah.
You know, and it's one of those controversial things that at least be able to know that you can hold your own for just a little while. You know, maybe just in time to be able to get help.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of the things in the penitentiary is that we always would talk about when you got into a situation, you know, whether it was a fight or riots or, you know, you have unfortunately been attacked or something of that nature, you just had to be able to hold your own for 30 seconds to a minute, and the cavalry's coming, you know, and there's not always a cavalry in normal everyday situations.
Right. Yeah.
And so women have to prepare themselves, you know, physically for things that could potentially happen. And I think also, you know, for men as well, we've society has just kind of made everything easy for us.
Yeah.
You know, everything is easy, and there's a lot of people don't know how to dig deep. And I think that's one of the big reasons why I enjoy hosting competitions so much, is be able to give people a platform to come in and show what they can do.
Yeah.
How much strength that they have. And because it takes more than just one competition a year. You've got to have that dedication. You go find your constitution. How deep does your constitution run?
I'm glad you said it, because it's like, why do we do this would be the question. People ask.
All the time.
And for me, the reason I said before, stay healthy, but motivation, but also I don't know another area, maybe they exist, that I can challenge myself this consistently to find a new place, a new level, and what can I accomplish? Your 1 rep maxes are cool. We'll see what I'm made of in a couple months, but it's more like this workout, that was a challenge. This one, how hard can you push day to day? Can you get to that next level? Just even at a gym session, and then go to a competition setting. Like, how bad do you want to win? Because the guy or the girl right here wants to beat you too. They've been training too. So you're right. So it gives you a chance to just better yourself, push yourself, get yourself to a harder mental place.
Exactly.
Yeah. Austin's put us on this for our brief off season. He would put us on a squat. You've been to heavy metal, so we have the inside and outside. And we were squatting inside, EMOM'd with the sandbag run outside. And it was 6 rounds. And in the 4th one, I fell down. I was like, all right, we're going to switch it every 3rd minute and then every 2nd minute. I wouldn't have got there if he wasn't in my ear. But that's the only way you get better. And that doesn't happen. Again, I love to read. There's other great habits out there to build, but I don't know that would happen. Find out who you really are until you push yourself in that position.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
There's hopefully we'll never have to have a day and a time where we have to bring that part out in us, but it's there.
Yeah.
What's the quote? I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
In a war.
And I don't think people understand that enough.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to lead, or are you going to be someone that has to be looked after?
I want to ask, because I want to get to the topic you asked to talk about, but I think it's dispelling a little, but maybe it's just the culture I'm in because I'm at a place like heavy metal, but you'll hear some silly version of a quote from women. I don't want to lift heavy because I don't want to.
You don't even have to go anywhere
so,
else. Oh my gosh.
How do you get, please, as someone who's an elite strength athlete, dispel the myth for them? For the thing I laugh at is like when you look at like professional female bodybuilders, I'm like, do you know the hours, effort, energy, diet, drugs that it took to get there? And that's not an insult. That's a compliment.
Yeah.
Like they didn't get there because they accidentally put the extra 5s on the damn bar. They have dedicated the last 3, 5, 7 decade of their life to looking like that. You're not going to go in, put a little extra weight, and you're not going to 3 sets of 8 tone, whatever that means.
That's not a word.
Please dispel this for people as a pro who can speak to it.
So there's a couple of different aspects on that. One of them, I find that when women say that to me, it's very insulting.
Fair.
It is very insulting to me because I have put 25 years worth of work into this, and you think that you're going to go in there and pick up a 20-pound dumbbell and boom, all of a sudden you have my abilities? No.
I'm sorry to laugh, but it's like it's so ridiculous, right? Like
it is. It's like you can't even begin to rationalize or even think about how much effort and how long and I have dedicated the time and effort and energy to creating me.
Yeah. And this doesn't happen on the male side. You don't have, maybe there's some of it, but no one walks into heavy metal thinking they're going to deadlift what I do and certainly know what Austin does, like accidentally. But it does happen on y'all's side, which is really weird to me.
And I'll say on that part, that bothers, the part that bothers me is that the men that don't make the decision to walk through the door because they're scared of not being able to lift that weight. Yeah. And that's the part that bothers me is there's men out there that would rather be able to have to armchair quarterback all of this.
Yeah, right.
And instead of putting forth the effort to get out there and become better, that a lot of men allow failure to the fear of failure to keep them from doing a lot of things in their life.
Agree.
And that's very frustrating, because women aren't afraid to fail. We're expected to fail. Unfortunately, that's something that, you look at a woman, you tell her to go over there and pull 315 on the deadlift. Everybody's going to be like, oh, yeah, she's not doing that, So right off the bat, the expectation is that we are to fail. Yeah. But for a man, that expectation is he better be able to get over there and do that. Mm-hmm. And so if he can't, then that's a whole other side of it that keeps a lot of men from walking through the door of gyms, and to being better. And that's what keeps a lot of men from signing up for competitions, is that fear of failure.
I don't want to get off topic too much, but I do want to ask, in strongman, my experience the last 3 or 4 years is that culture doesn't exist, or hardly at all. There's an encouragement among the athletes at the gyms. I don't care what you're lifting, go. Is it the same in powerlifting? Is that culture the same there?
It's changed over the years, but it's still there.
Okay, like the encouragement, the camaraderie.
The encouragement, the camaraderie. Yeah. Sometimes it kind of depends on the federation that you're in.
Fair. Okay.
Sometimes it depends on the gym culture.
Fair, yeah.
Gym culture is huge.
Yeah.
You walk into most of your Anytime Fitnesses or all your commercial type gyms and things like that, they're not going to have the gym culture that is needed to be able to support competition.
Agreed.
You're just going in there to get work done, which is great.
Yeah.
If that's your goal.
Absolutely.
That's great. But if you want to be competitive, or if you want to give it a try, that's not where you're going to find it. You're going to find it in those little hole-in-the-wall gyms that more than likely don't have air conditioning, which I try to avoid. And their weights are rusty. The equipment is old. But you know what? That's where you're going to find the best people.
Oh, for sure.
You're going to find the best people. You're going to find the best encouragement. You're going to find the best community, is because we've all been there. Yeah. We all had to start somewhere. We all started at the bottom. And
there's no shortcuts in strength. I think that's one of my favorite parts of this. Like, that's another reason I love it, is whatever number, I can hear in your tone the pride you have in what you've accomplished and who you are and how you feel. I mean, I feel very similar, and it's like, the numbers I have, they're not accidental. It's day after day, after day, failure after failure. Like, it's just, and every rep was hard. That took effort, and so there's no shortcut there. That's why even if it's a little too much on the social media, like, the pride's from a real place. It's not just for attention. Like, no, like, this was, there was no backdooring into this.
No.
like it's just
social media.
Fair enough. I have to market with it, so thank you for the help with that.
Well, I have to too.
Fair.
And that's where I fail. I do not, I was strong before social media.
I know.
I was strong before the internet. I don't know about that one. I'll have to go back and check.
But I mean, before it was ubiquitous.
Yeah. So, and that's where I struggle most with my business, is posting things for social media, and that whole getting out there and putting myself out there. I mean, you didn't know the things that I've accomplished before this podcast.
I had an idea of who you were, and we had met, and I mean, I lavished over you for it, but at the same time, I didn't know the detail of it.
Yeah, I don't, I'm highly accomplished, and I don't tell a lot of people about it. Yeah. Because I just don't. I
mean, the line between like narcissism and marketing there's some thin. I get it.
Yeah.
But I mean, but for your business sake, I get why. I want to give you the platform. So to go back, you said it with kind of a smile, where you worked your whole adult life to hit certain numbers. Your husband goes in for 6 months, and he's benching 235. We were both at OSG last year, and unfortunately, the main story out of it wasn't the athlete who won, but I'm going to mess up the vocabulary. I don't really care. Transgender woman
As a man.
Was
a man that come to,
had participated first in I can't remember the name of the competition out west. It's Lucas Hatton's competition. I can't remember it, but won that, which kicked someone else out of the chance to go one more place. I can't remember. I think I'm missing one. Oh yeah, to North Americas. I think got second at North Americas, which kicked someone else off the podium. And unbeknownst to everybody, is a biological male, goes to OSG, complete unknown, and wins. And humorous to me, barely wins because Angelica.
Oh, I know.
Not Angelica.
Andrea,
thank you. Who was lovely. I got a chance to meet her. Talked to her for like 20 minutes. She was really cool. Whose arms are like this long. I couldn't get the stones. Right? But is a mammoth in every other event. I think OSG did the right thing at the end, and restored everything. But you've been in strength sports a long time, female strength sports. I don't know how to ask the question to your opinion, but how do we address it? What do I ask?
It's biology.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Women's. So I've been fighting this since 2018.
Okay.
I've been advocating to keep men out of women's sports since 2018. We had an incident that took place in our powerlifting federation up in Minnesota. Imagine that. And this is a man that wanted to compete as a female, and he was not allowed. There was a lot of protesting under it. He ultimately sued the federation, and oh my goodness gracious, it
really
was
full on
huge.
like real lawsuit, like went to court.
Oh yeah,
okay.
Oh yeah, and unfortunately, we were, and I'm going to probably get this wrong. USAPL had to go through tons of law, attorneys and everything.
More expensive.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, you are.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. But in that, I met a lady by the name of Beth who was competed. That was her very first competition, and she was so disgusted because that whole competition was nothing but a protest to let this man compete as a woman. So it completely took away from her first experience as a powerlifter, and she's helped create a organization called Save Women's Sports.
Okay.
And so I become part of that.
Okay.
And because just exactly what we're talking about, I worked a long time to have the records that I have, to be able to bench the amount that I bench. And a man can walk in and take it from me within 6 months.
Yeah.
That is not women. Title IX was created for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked.
Yep.
Women, that's a whole nother subject, but women were finally given the opportunity to participate in sporting events just for them. Why are we going to allow a biological male, regardless of the medical stuff that takes place with all of that, into our space? And, the Supreme Court, they've been hearing the two cases out of Idaho and West Virginia at the Supreme Court right now. I've got lots of friends that are up there that are outside. They are advocating. And I kind of kicked myself. I wish I would have made my way up there as well. And because this is such an extremely important topic.
Yeah.
And I've been down and I have sat in front of the Senate. I have sat in front of the House of Representatives and given my testimony multiple times over the past 5-6 years to help support keeping men out of women's sports. And it's about protecting female spaces, and what was the first thing, we talked about for strength sports, when the first things women think about when they wake up in the morning is am I safe?
Yeah.
Am I in a safe environment? Am I going to be safe as I go about my day? Mm-hmm. So that right there, women's safety is the top for us. That is on our mind constantly. It is a constant thought. We don't walk into gas stations if there's a guy standing out there beside the door. Yeah. We don't go to certain places and we don't do certain things because if we look and see, we have to check the back seat of our cars to make sure there's nobody in there that's going to take advantage of us. We don't walk down dark alleys. And you want to turn around and ask, say, oh, it's okay for a man to come into our bathrooms, come into our locker rooms, come into our prisons. That was the one that really got me right there is I know what those women have been through. Yes, they are convicted criminals.
They're still human beings. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. Yes, they are paying their debt to society. But California, I think it's California, Colorado, and New Jersey have allowed men into their the men that identify into their female prisons. And it has just been utter chaos. And it's the female prisoners, like you said, they're still humans.
Yeah.
You cannot, and this is, you may remember this from law, because this is early on. I did a couple of things in criminal justice back, many, many moons ago and everything. I thought I was going to get a minor in criminal justice, but I was stuck on the track of my counseling psych. And the bad apple syndrome. You put one bad apple in a basket of apples, and that one bad apple is going to destroy all of those other apples, and it accelerates the process of rotting. And that's exactly the same thing. You put one man in, one of the things, going back to, the swimmer, Leah Thomas, who unfortunately is from Texas, by the way, Will Thomas. And I listened to Paula, and I apologize, I don't remember her last name. She talked about, because she was on the same swim team as him.
Yeah.
And she talked about that the women would go change in the janitor's closet to avoid being in the same room with him, and that he would walk around nude. And then she told a story, and this one really got under my skin, as they were doing a camp with young girls, so below college age, and he was in there in the locker room with them. And it's like, why are we subjecting women? This is 52% of the population. Why are you subjecting them to this? What's the benefit of it?
Yeah.
There's not. For 1%, 1 or 2% of the population to not have their feelings hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, this doesn't make sense.
I don't disagree. I mean, I don't have good answers, like culturally, societally, on how to handle people in transgender, and I do have empathy and sympathy, but that's separate from the idea of Title IX worked for a reason.
Yes,
and it's a safety issue, and again, it's just a biological issue. It's not a philosophical question. We can have opinions on that. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's the fact I would have won the women's open this year. I shouldn't have competed.
Hands down.
But that's an insult to them. That shouldn't take away from the work Andrea Thompson put in. And exactly. I forgot the lady that was kept out of the top 10 that couldn't go to make the final, who handled it with nothing but grace. But again, you're just
trying to remember.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the person who was fourth.
Exactly.
She missed, I think her name was Jackie. Yeah. She missed the opportunity to get up there on that platform and stand there with a third place trophy
that she earned.
Andrea missed getting to stand up there again for first place.
Yeah.
These are opportunities that is being taken away from women. I was listening to the Supreme Court hearing on Tuesday.
Okay.
And was it Tuesday? And they were talking about that over 800 medals have been taken away from women because of men in women's sports. Yeah. Over 800 medals just in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't have a good answer. I mean, I don't know. Maybe in 100-year future, there's a way for post surgery and the levels of change and whatever. Maybe, but we don't have that conversation right now. It's not that hard. You're an intact biological male What are you doing? It just doesn't. It doesn't seem hard to me. And I'm liberal. Like, our politics are different, but I don't think this one's hard. I got 2 daughters.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
You know, and I'm not a die-hard conservative.
Yeah,
I'm not. I
yeah.
have never have been. But this is one of those things where this is where I draw the line.
I think it's kind of a clear one. I can't really make a good case the other way.
Yeah.
I really can't. And especially in the one at OSG where it was clearly somewhat I don't know if there was ever a form to fill out, but I know when I registered, I had to put male or female.
Correct.
And and I don't know if you would like this or not, but I believe fully had that person, I can't remember their name now, but opened up and said, this is who I am, I want to compete, they probably just created a category. They probably would have done it. And if you'd have done it that way, you'd have been celebrated as groundbreaking. But instead of owning that, you not only take away from the people that we just talked about that lose out on the top spot, the 3rd spot, the 4th spot, the 10th spot, you created a cloud on the sport we all love, because now OSG, instead of talking to an Andrea Thompson, I don't even remember who won the men's open, but,
right?
But we're not even talking about that today. We get attention none of us ever wanted.
Right.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. I don't know what else to say.
It was, that's just one of those things that we're, as a society, as we grow, that there is still going to be some things that there has to be just a hard yes or no.
Yeah.
And that's in my opinion, that is one of them. It's either it's yes or no. Yeah. And at this, it better be no. No, they do not get to come in.
Well, again, the Leah Thomas or Will Thomas, was a below average male swimmer, if I remember
460 something was where he ranked.
Yeah, and then 1 or 2 when you get to the ones we can't. This wasn't hard to tell. Come on. This person in the OSG, had competed in 2 prior competitions. 2 prior competitions. And comes in and wins.
That's not. I mean, I don't think we've ever had that happen.
No.
And that goes back. I think that goes back to our community as well as saying how accepting and loving that we are. Is that it wasn't questioned that day.
No.
It was okay. We've got we've got a woman that is above average height, above average build. But that's what our sport does.
Yeah.
And that's who we are. And he was wrong. He was absolutely wrong because he deceived everybody.
Well, that's the main part for me too. Like, if you're open about it and OSG made the decision, then let it land on OSG if they were going to allow it, and then they can take the fall. But you were deceitful about it. I mean, and you didn't have to be. You didn't have to be. I promise this is an accepting place. Opinions that matter. There's a place for you if you want it, but I don't think you want that place. It's hard for me to believe, and again, I don't want to put my choke on my feet too much, but I'll just say it feels kind of convenient. You want medals that are easier for you to get because your biology.
It goes back to that Constitution.
It really, right? Yeah, because I know how hard it is for me to just even get in the 20s in my division.
Yes.
And you're nowhere at my level, so settle down, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's see. Have a little more fun here. What is something you wish the general public understood better about strength sports and the culture around it?
It goes back to the question that you asked about, a woman saying, well, I don't want to look like a man. Oh my gosh. Well, I promise you, sister, it's going to take a lot of years and a lot of work and
a lot of Anavar.
A lot of stuff that you don't want to put in your body to make you look like that.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of them.
Okay.
And the other one is, give it a shot.
Yes.
Try. Don't let the fear of not being the best take away an opportunity that you have to experience. Because, our community is great.
Yes.
That's what really keeps me going. And at the age that I am and at what I'm doing and in the business and all of that, it's about the community of people that we draw into our strength sports. And they're some of the best in the world. Oh, yeah. I've got friends all over the world now because of strength sports.
It's the culture I've experienced. You were heavy metal today. And if you talk to Tim and Michelle, Tim especially, and you asked him, like, who are you most proud of? I guarantee you it would shockingly probably not be Austin or Nick. He would mention a person who came in and lost like 50 or 100 pounds. Like, his heart's really in quote unquote normal, regular, everyday people coming in and making themselves better.
Yeah.
That's the point. Yeah. We're not all going to get to 11 national records or whatever. You don't have to. Like, you made yourself stronger and better.
I did that on purpose.
Yeah.
I did that on purpose. That was my goals. That was what I wanted to do. And when this is one of the things that really get me is that everybody's like, oh, don't you hurt? Don't you hurt all the time? I'm like, oh yeah, my back is, I got this. And
who else hurts all the time? People who don't work out and they turn 40. Yeah.
And that's what I asked him. I said, don't you hurt when you get out of bed in the morning? Yeah. And of course that normally opens the door for people to go, oh yeah, man, my knee, my back, my elbow, my this, my that. And then I let the hammer drop and I look at him and I go, but I'm stronger than you.
By a lot. Yeah.
And I'd rather be much stronger than weak.
Yeah.
And not being able to do things.
The one I get, because in my profession, no one competes at this in my profession, I'll say that. They're like, be careful with your back. Like, my back's strong. My back's fine. Be careful with your back, man. Like, I work it out every day. I don't have to tell you, dude. Like, yeah.
I'll tell you a little bit about me. As, people don't know this. Let's see. I've broke my ankle, breaking up a fight. I had to have metal put in it, both sides, and had to have surgery. Yeah. And I competed 6 months later. Oh my gosh. I had my ACL replaced 20 years ago. Ugh. And I competed 6 months later. Now I had a total knee replacement. Goodness. Last January, I'm a year out of a total knee replacement. And I competed
11 months later. Yeah.
I competed 6 months later. I did USS Nats. And my lower back, you don't even want to look at what my lower back looks like. And I was telling Tim today, I was like, look, from back L3, L4 to S1 has pretty much fused itself together. There's nothing left. None of that juicy good stuff. There's nothing left there anymore, and there's lots of reasons where I could say, I just can't do this anymore. I hurt too bad. I can't do it anymore. Pain is a symptom. The pain is a symptom of something that's wrong. Mm-hmm. And so if you want to, you can figure out what that symptom is. Now, love a chiropractor. Love chiropractic. My youngest daughter's a chiropractor. Massage therapy. I tell people, I said, if it's not sickness or if a bone is not broke, go find an alternative. Don't go to a doctor. No. Because all they're going to do is they're going to try to give you pain meds. They're going to tell you to rest. They're going to tell you that you need to stop lifting heavy, which is the absolute worst thing that you could do. Mm-hmm. I was having a lot of problems with my lower back. I had the discs were slipping and causing some really big pain. And I finally broke down and went to a sports orthopedic, and I appreciated him so much. When I went in there, his PA, who was doing my initial, mm-hmm. was like, well, I told him about my experience, told him I was a power lifter, told him, I think I was about 47, 40, so it's been about 5 years. And he's like, oh, well, you may not be able to, you may need to ease up off of that. And, you've got all of this going on in your lower back, it's probably best if you stop competing and things like that. So this is the PA or NP, whichever one he was. In walks the orthopedic, and he looks at my MRI, and he looks me straight in the face. He goes, don't stop what you're doing. He goes, because you're doing the absolute best thing that you could be doing for your body. He says, we just need to teach you how to control your inflammation. Okay. He says, when your back flares up, and there's certain things that I now know, there's certain workouts and things like that will flare up my lower back. But I also have been taught how to reduce that inflammation. And guess what? it goes away within a week.
There you go.
So pain is a symptom that can be fixed.
Yeah.
And I don't think people
And not
realize
just masked
that.
with a pill.
And
or masked
exactly.
by not moving.
Yeah.
Justin Reyna, have you got to know him? Okay. You know he's Cairo.
Yes.
And treats all of us at this
Yes.
point. He's coming with me to Record too.
Yay.
Yeah. So he was there with me last year.
He works on dogs too, so
He does.
I'll have my dog.
Yeah.
I'll have my dog there.
Yeah. But I love, again, the perspective of like quality of life matters as much as just extending. And I feel like sometimes, again, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not going to trash, but there is a level of like, I want to be better to be functional. I don't want to just get rid of the pain here. Like I want to like get healthy. Like I want to be healthy.
Exactly.
Healthier. So no, I agree. I also don't want to leave people the impression that all of us end up with replaced knees and bad backs. Like there's ways to do this. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing though. Most everybody by the time they're our age already have all that.
That's what I mean. It's not because I powerlifted for 20 years, that's what happened. It's because I'm 40, I'm 45, I'm 50.
Yeah.
Something was going to happen no matter what. And I'm better, stronger, more capable of dealing when the bad stuff happens because
Absolutely.
my whole body's stronger. Yeah. What advice would you give someone who wants to step into competitive strength but feels intimidated? You've kind of gone there, but if you want to be more
Pull the
direct,
trigger.
Just pull it, right?
Pull the trigger. Sign up. Just do it. You'll never regret it. I don't think I've talked to any person that's ever competed that said, I regret doing that.
Oh no, there's a guy who's a nurse at our gym, and he started a very kind of almost cliche story, very overweight. Someone got him to come there. He got super inspired. Tim worked with him a little bit. He competed at his first at Metal Mayhem last year in October, and he was last in the division. He couldn't have been happier because he PR'd everything. He
There
felt
you go.
great. I mean, like, and what is he? 70 pounds lighter. He's moving. He's thrilled. He's motivated. Like his life, I can't think of one lever to pull in his life that would have made that big a difference.
Exactly.
As that. So.
Well, competition, I'm going to talk about that a minute.
Yeah.
Competition, it's you against yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing, like with strongman and powerlifting and moss wrestling, well, not moss wrestling, but arm lifting and stuff like that. That is, you are competing against how you did prior. You know, and yes, you want to get out there and you want to compete and you want to be better than your competition and things like that. You know, great. First, second, third place, that always feels good. It all feels good, you know. But you have to go in with the mindset of exactly what you just said, that you go in there and you are PRing, you're doing a personal best at whatever event that's something that you were weak at, not 6 months ago or a year ago. You know, and I think people allow their egos to get involved way too much, and they are actually restricting themselves. And, you know, as masters lifters, that passion does not die.
No.
This is something that I talk about with the younger lifters. They're like, "Oh, I'm going to retire when I'm 40. Oh, I don't think I'm going to go. I don't think I want to be a masters lifter." And I'm like, you do realize that competitive fire does not go away.
Oh no.
It doesn't go away with age.
Oh, when I was sitting there, and I guess the same with you, like we were all just as jittery and nervous for that first event. Yeah. And I wanted to perform.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so where's that goes back to the mental health part of it too. Where are you going to take that desire? Where are you going to take that, where you have been in the gym for, you know, and have a goal? Once you give up that, where's that going to go to?
Yeah.
You know, how are you helping yourself by making that go away? So I am a huge proponent of, you know, continuing to compete, which I get to say, we just, USS now has a 60 plus masters, which they've had. They've had. However, now it's divided into a lightweight, heavyweight category, like the 40s and 50s is. I got the email this morning.
Can I identify as 60?
No, you may not. That is not reality, sir.
I would have podiumed at the 50s that was this year. So.
Hey, there you go.
What's something strength sports taught you about yourself that surprised you?
I'm a heck of a lot stronger than I thought I was.
I agree. I feel very similar.
Mentally,
I can do more than
physically,
I thought.
Emotionally. I'm just, and I can withstand things a lot better.
Yeah. What I like this, but I want to ask it two different ways. She asked, how do you stay grounded when results don't match the work you've put in? But I kind of want both sides of the question. When your performance at the meet didn't meet what your prep was, it just didn't go well. How do you handle that? But also, how do you handle the ego when you're at this level?
I'll just talk about the ego part of it. Mm-hmm. I think most women, we feel like this anyways. We don't have the ego that men do, and I think it's because we're caretakers, we're nurturers by, just by biology, and there are some women out there that get a little egotistical, but nothing like what the men do. Nothing. So for a woman on that side of it, again, it goes back to the expectation is that women are always supposed to fail. So even when we win, we don't take it as an ego thing because the expectation was for us to fail anyways. And I hate to even say that and keep saying that, but, that's, so I myself, once I have a win, this is something that I learned 2 OSGs ago that I don't do. I don't allow myself to enjoy my win. I mean, halfway through a competition, like I was telling you, halfway through prep, I'm already prepping for the competition that's coming after it, and halfway through the competition, in the actual competition, I'm already prepping for the next stage, for the next one. And so I had to teach myself, and I'm still not good at it because I just realized it a couple of years ago, that I have to be able to sit back and look at all of the things that I have accomplished. And that's hard for me. It's very hard for me. It goes back to, I don't talk a lot about myself. I don't talk a lot about the things that I have accomplished because I don't allow myself to sit back and reflect. And that's something I'm learning to do. And one of my friends up in Michigan, she had a board that she put, we have a 50 plus Instagram message thing that all us 50 plus women are on from OSG and stuff like that. So it's really fun because, and it's all of us from all over the world, we're all over the place. And she posted a picture on there of all of her accomplishments from the year. And I was like, that is a great idea. Yeah. So she has it in her gym. She has it where, wherever placement that she did in her competitions and stuff. And you have the ability to reflect back and look and see, what? I really did something great. Yeah. And I don't think a lot of us allow ourselves to reflect back and say, hey, we really are pretty daggone good, and sit in that for a moment.
I don't know for me I don't know if it's insecurity or what, but there's like a fear of like you'd rest on your laurels if you look back and appreciate it, which isn't true. Just appreciate the journey. We're
so hard on ourselves.
Yes.
And I think that comes with who we are in strength sports. Yeah. I mean, we're harder on ourselves than what anybody else could be.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of us come from some pretty rough backgrounds or, have overcome, things like addiction and the gym is our mental rest.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that have accomplished great things, but still allow some of their past to drag them down as far mentally.
Yeah.
We never allow ourselves to say, hey, that's a great accomplishment. Let's be proud of that.
Yeah.
It goes back to the whole social media thing. I don't post a lot of things because I don't want to come off as narcissistic or as boastful.
Yeah.
And which I have every right to be.
You do.
But I don't.
And it also inspires others. Like, I'm actually surprised. Like, people are like, oh, I'm proud of you. Like, why do you care? But, like, no,
exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
But it does, like, inspire people to be like, especially in your demographic.
Yeah.
Like, I hope so could say, but 50-plus woman, I don't want to imagine the percent of people that even try to, whatever athletic thing it would be, whether swimming, running, CrossFit, your favorite, strength sports, like, but like pushing themselves at all. Like, I can't. I'm older. I'm female.
Yeah.
We don't do that. Like, no, you can. Like,
You can do that.
Yeah.
You are correct.
Yeah.
You are correct. So,
A much lesser degree there, but even like at my age of men, with a quote unquote professional job, like, doesn't stop you. Like, it's up to you if you want to be healthy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
compete there. Yeah.
if you want it bad enough, you'll find a way.
Yeah, I agree.
That's with anything. That's with your job. That's with relationships. That's with, everybody, your world, your gym time. If you want it bad enough, you'll find a way to make
for
it
sure.
work.
Yeah. I think that makes, though, people like you in Austin, I hope one day in that camp, a little different. There's just, you're not going to stop me at a certain point. You're just not going to stop me. Like, we're going to do the next thing that we need to get. And I think a little off topic, it gets harder the higher you get too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because the next level, the pressure, but also the level you're at. You've started to tap into what your body was capable of. Now you have to make your body capable of more and more. And then you look at someone else do it. Well, I guess I am capable. And you're like climbing with each other. It's crazy.
And that's where the friendships are built.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what makes it great. That's crazy because you were talking about earlier, you were already setting records, but you're still motivated because that's who you are. Like, just because no one had hit whatever that number was before doesn't mean that's the highest number that's possible, the highest number you can hit.
Right.
And go. I know on the men's side, when Eddie Hall hit 500 kilos, it was impossible. But what's happening?
Right.
Guys are flirting with it, and guys are beating that now.
And it's consistent.
Yes.
There's so many more that are doing that, and the human body is so capable. There's so much that we're capable of.
And we have no clue what the capabilities are. We really don't, right?
Because we're restricted by our mind and by our mindset. And so that's the big part. That's something that we all have to overcome is the idea that we're not capable, which in actuality we truly are.
But I think that's what I love about being in this. But I mean, I think the 4-minute mile has been the best example of that because it was impossible. And then the next year, 20 guys did it.
Yeah.
It was here. But that's why I love doing that. And again, being spoiled in a place with someone who might hit 500 kilos next year is like,
oh, he's so going to do
surreal.
it. He's so going to. I mean, he's already hit 497, isn't he?
He's hit 470. And actually, if you look over there, I'll show it to you when we walk out. That's the shirt he wore, and he's got pictures of it, and he signed. Yeah. He actually, so this was from SMO last year. He got all the athletes except for the podium guys to sign. So that's all the SMO athletes up there for me.
Oh, it's so disappointing that SMO's not happening this year.
It is. Actually, this gets to a question she asked, what makes a competition well run from an athlete perspective? I want to hear that. But for Austin, I think SMO being gone is a little blessing because the way the schedule falls.
Oh, that was a tough schedule right there around, but September to October for those big guys, Giants Live, the SMO, you had the Olympia was in there, and there's so much the Rogue, and everything was so packed into that schedule.
Now he's got Arnold, World's Strongest Man, 5-6 weeks later, and then there's like a 4-month gap before World Deadlift Championships, and he can just concentrate on that.
That's awesome.
And I have high expectations of my buddy.
Oh yeah, I do too.
I think something special is going to happen. I think he's going to be in he's already in an elite area. I think only 8 guys have ever hit 470. I think.
Isn't that amazing?
It's crazy to be a part of that. Yeah. And I've worked out with 2 of them. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But so what do you like to see? We'll say strongman competition just because I don't know enough about powerlifting. What makes it well run for you? Like your ideal strongman competition. You run them, you execute them. What do you want to see? You can, and wherever you want to go with this, whether it's the events.
They start on time.
Yes.
That's probably, and this come from my powerlifting world.
Okay.
You start your event on time. If you said you're going to start at 10, by golly, you start at 10.
Yeah.
You don't start at 10:15. There's been a couple of times where I've had to start maybe at 10:05, but you start on time.
There you go.
The athlete has an expectation when they walk in that they know about what time they're going to be done, and that's what you're shooting for. The events, there's so much. You start on time. You have the proper equipment. Mm-hmm. You give proper warm-up time.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing in strongman is where a lot of it's lacking. That's where I hear the biggest complaint is there's just not enough either warm-up equipment or not enough warm-up time.
Yeah.
I know that was one of the things for me at OSG, and Yeah, I got a little loud and
You feel like you did or didn't have enough?
did not.
Oh, really?
Did not.
Okay.
Yeah, but I understand because we're still working with the flow.
Yes.
You have to, again, coming from the powerlifting world, you run through all of your squats. You get your first flight done, then you got your second flight, then you get your third flight. So everything is really scripted, and you're only doing 3 events.
Yeah.
Even though you're doing them 3 times, they're still very standard.
Yeah.
You get 1 minute. You got 1 minute to get to the platform. You perform your lift. It's not going to take a 1 minute, 90 seconds. You have, I think you got 1 minute to get off the platform now. I'd have to go back and look. And then you've got 2 minutes to turn in your next attempt. So everything is very well scripted, in powerlifting. And in strongman, you don't necessarily have that. So, and I will tell you, whether it's strongman, whether it's powerlifting, whether it's arm lifting, your spotters and loaders make or break
I would have to imagine.
your competition.
Yeah.
If you've got slow spotters and loaders, your event's going to take forever.
Yeah.
But if you've got those spotters and loaders that work like a NASCAR team, man alive, it is just boom, 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 boom. And a lot of that is you've got to have people that you've worked with for years.
Yeah.
My husband is really good at managing the platform.
Okay.
Now, it takes time. So when I look into the powerlifting side of it, or even my strongman side of it, I've got one person who is responsible for taking care of all the platforms or taking care of all of the events, because that person is going to have the weight chart. They know how to the flow of a competition. They know when to speed it up. They know when to slow it down. They know how to get on people's asses. They know how to get people motivated.
Yeah.
So you've got to have that one person, 1 or 2 people. You can't have much more than that, especially at a small event, because then you're running all
Chiefs,
over.
not opinions.
Yeah. And so having a person that's, and sometimes it's your judge. Sometimes your judge is the one that does it. I don't like to leave it up to the judge, because
Fair.
I want them to be able to have the flexibility of being able to, pay attention to what they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't want them to have to worry about, numbers and stuff like that. So always prefer to have somebody in the background that is pretty much creating the flow of the competition for you.
Gotcha.
And that's pretty much where you live or die.
Yeah.
In your competitions. And not everybody wants to volunteer.
It's a lot of work. It's a long day.
It's a long day. It's a lot of work. And I pay my people.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I pay my people in strongman. For a while there in powerlifting, it started a couple of years ago, when things started getting expensive. People,
Right.
I have people that come from an hour and a half, 2 hours away to come and judge or spot and load and stuff like that. And I can't ask them to continue to dig in their pocket, and for gas money.
Yeah.
I at least want to be able to give them gas money. Maybe you can stop at McDonald's on the way home,
got you. Something,
kind of thing, a little bit of something. But all of that comes, and I think this is one of the reasons that meet directors flare up real big, and then they die out real fast. And it's one of the things that I've been trying to mitigate for myself is a lot of people will be like, oh, can't we have the old strongman days of a $40 entry, you get a free T-shirt, and you go in and you have a good time.
Athletes are prima donnas, man. It's hilarious.
I'm like, dude, come on, $40? Nowadays, a medal is $10. A shirt is $10. You're paying people. You're paying everybody.
Probably have to pay the venue.
Yeah. Oh gosh, if I have to pay for a venue, I don't make money.
There you go. Yeah.
That's just all there is to it. Whether it's powerlifting or whether it's strongman, that's another one of the reasons why I have driven all of my stuff together. Is even though I may not get the numbers on the strongman side, but I'll have good numbers on the powerlifting side. They complement each other, and I'll at least break even. And when I started this, I started hosting competitions 7-8 years ago with powerlifting, and my goal was to make a car payment.
Okay.
If I as a meet director can come out of this making a car payment, then I'm good.
Yeah.
and then I started bringing in the other sports and everything else. And it's not easy.
How do you handle weight selection, especially in
Oh gosh, it's so hard.
It has to be.
It is so hard. It's so complicated.
Yeah.
And there's some guys that they are really, really good at it, and I just have not figured that out yet. And for women, I can do the women.
Okay.
Because I am a woman, and
Sure.
I have a pretty good idea. But on the men, golly, I'm calling people. I'm calling up Robert Spence. Hey, dude, help me with this. What is a good yoke? Or Derek Owens, or I'll call some of my Zane LeBlanc. He's a 165er, and I'll be like, okay, this is what I have in my mind. Yeah. Tell me, is this? And then there's a lot of research that goes into it. I'll look at OSG numbers. I'll look at USS numbers. I'll look at strongman numbers. And that's probably the thing that stresses me out the most.
What's your, so my only ever tension with Tim is I always felt like he's a little light, but, and I'm like, well, now we're turning into CrossFit, bro. But that's just a heavyweight athlete complaining, because I'm just like, I don't want 60 reps to win this thing. If I hit 4, it should be a number. Right. I like Brian Shaw. Brian Shaw says he does a rule of thirds. A third should fail, 0, be right on the edge.
Yes.
A third should be struggling, and a third should be able to thrive to where they're hitting some reps.
Oh, I completely agree. But what
Good luck
number are you calling?
Well,
what number are you calling?
I think it's harder on your end too, because are you exclusive to USS?
I am exclusive USS. Yeah.
So it's more of the entry level, but who the hell's coming? I'm going to your show this year, and
exactly.
I'm not entry level, because you flirted the record, and I want to support, and I want to put some competitions in. No, I appreciate it. I'm excited. Yeah, I've never done a Hercules hold or a there. Your natural stones are too light. I'll tell you that. So there you go. Really? Yeah.
Well, it just so happens I got some more.
Get some more. It'll be fun.
No, I have some more.
I mean, if I fail it, you can play this clip over and over. That's fine. Yeah, but I think
that's good.
I think what you have is 150, 200, 250? I think, or something like that for the big boys.
See, and that's again the natural stone. You got to find the stone. I was lucky to come across somebody that one of our friends who had some. Oh, okay, and they're granite, and nice. I mean they're beautiful. Yeah. I'm one of those quirky people that love rocks.
How smooth are they?
They're not as smooth as what you think. They're not, they've got some grit to them, and
because if they do, then it's
yeah.
I mean, this, a lot easier to grip.
So, yeah. And they're really, they're beautiful. But
I'm excited.
I'm like one of those weird people. I anywhere I go, I'll pick up rocks and stuff, and I love rocks.
That's funny.
I've always been that way. I love rocks.
Did you see the comedian that was on the Kill Tony show? He blew up. He's on SNL now, but his first or second appearance, they do a little interview, and he's like, "Is there anything else he wants to know about you?" And he goes, "I'm not retarded, but I like rocks." That's just hit viral. He literally
I'm the same way. I like rocks.
I think we all are. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited. I've never done a Viking press before. We have the machine. I don't know if you saw it at Heavy Metal.
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah. So when you walked in, you go up the stairs. It was the second one on your left. And it's just two handles there.
Yeah, my Viking press is amazing.
I'm excited. I have no clue what
my Viking press. It was made very well, and and then you'll notice whenever you look at the entry is don't be afraid of the weights. It's the same thing with my Hercules hold.
Okay, yeah.
They are so smooth that I have to put a lot of weight on there
to make it competitive.
It's like you said, you don't, let's see, I think we did 450 back in October, and I had one guy rep it out 23 times.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It's like, holy crap, I can't put enough weight on there.
Yeah.
So that's why the numbers, and that's the other thing, you don't, with the number calling, it's a learned skill.
It is. Yeah.
It really is, because I may have someone like yourself that signs up, and then I have somebody that is in the open class that it's only their second or third competition.
Yeah.
Where do you find that?
You want them to feel successful.
Yeah. Where do you find that happy number? And it's difficult.
My the rule I wish the pros would do, because I don't think they do it enough. I don't know. I'm a dork because I follow Austin and stuff. So the Arnold, they have a sandbag event this year. Mm-hmm. And it's the ramp they do the timber carry.
Right, yeah.
But it said it's going to be 3 sandbags. So all they said when they gave the events was it's 3 sandbags. And we're like, please be heavy, please be heavy, please be heavy. Sure enough, 300, 350, 375. Like, it's light, you know? And my test is like, if the pro middleweight would beat the heavyweight, it's too light.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I don't think you can do that for your shows. It just doesn't work that way.
I kind of look at that.
Yeah.
Especially like with my master's divisions and things like that, I'll look back at like my 181s or my 220s and things like that, just to kind of gauge the numbers. And my thing too is the whole premises of hosting competitions for me, and the reason why I do it, is I want to be able to give people the opportunity to come compete.
Yeah.
You know, I love the higher end of it. You know, that's myself personally, because that's where I compete at, that I enjoy watching. I love the fact that we've got Austin and Nick in there, and Trey, and you know, all these Texas boys and everything. So I swell up with pride, and you know, to know these guys personally and to watch what they're doing, and that's awesome. But it's kind of like your NFL football players. They are just a minuscule.
A little fraction.
They are a little fraction of what is actually taking place. And the only way that we can keep that happening up there at the top is if we build the bottom.
Completely agree.
And that's where I'm at. That's where my philosophy is at. I want to be able to introduce strength sports to as many people as I possibly can. Hence the reason why I travel around the state with my equipment, and why, because people will get after me at times. Jade, you have so many comps. I have so many comps because I do it in different locations, and I want people to have the opportunity. You know, and that's where I've got to start being better on the social media side of it, because that's where a lot of people, especially strongmen, in powerlifting, everybody knows you just go to the USAPL website, the calendar, and you'll find everything. But for strongman, people don't necessarily find their events, and they don't go to Iron Podium and find their events. They're finding their events through the meet promoter and the way they promote their competitions and things like that. Or it's built around the gym.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of the thing for me is I don't have a gym, but I do have a community that I can build in my own community. So that's something that's another goal for myself for this year, is to start doing more strongman, you know, like you see the strongman Mondays or strongman Saturdays and things like that. And I'm going to start doing that for my own community, because I think I've got people in my little old town that would be interested in coming out.
It would have to be. Yeah.
And so, you know, I got to start building it up in my own backyard.
Well, I'm grateful. I'll tell you that. I appreciate it. It's been fun. I've done 2 of your shows. I'll do a third here in a minute. And I like that they're different events too. You know? Yeah,
that's the thing with strongman. You've got to keep it interesting. Yeah. And David, I'm always on the phone with David going, okay, I have this idea. Can we do this?
Sticks and Stones, David? Or?
Yes, Sticks and Stones, David. Absolutely. Wonderful. I throw so many ideas at him, and by God, I'm going to figure out how to do a car flip safely. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. One of these, I'm going to get it figured out, and we'll have a car flip at one of my shows.
Be really fun. Let me know, because I want to do that.
I've wanted to do that forever,
That's
but
really cool.
It's just trying to figure out the logistics of keeping everybody safe.
Yeah. Well, you're giving me 2 new ones. I've never done Viking. I've never done a Hercules. Are you doing the wheel as well?
Yes, the Wheel of Pain is there.
That'd be all 3 new for me.
Yep.
So great. Watch me just get killed in the event. That'd be fun.
Yeah. So, and it's also the winter record is going to have a standard deadlift, Texas state record.
Right. Just the deadlift
and then,
bar, right? The
regular deadlift bar. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's that 5th event? Oh, the Stones.
Yeah,
the
natural stones, which I've never done.
Yeah.
I've done them at our gym, but I've never gotten to play with the natural stones.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited.
Yeah. And those are, I'm pretty proud of those.
I'm excited. Really cool. I think we're good. Do you want to keep going? Or are you good? I think we're good on time, so I think we want to let you get out. Yeah.
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. So sincerely, thank you. I meant it when I said it. You know, I get to enjoy the sport more now because people were willing to pioneer and do what you're doing.
Yeah,
and I mean
and I don't feel like a pioneer. I look back and go, damn, I've been doing this for 25 years. I guess I kind of was.
But for real, I mean, you know, for being a woman, pushing the strength sports, even today, as much bigger as it is, it's still, there's obviously a gap between the men and women's participation and the level. And
yeah, it's so much smaller now. Back whenever I started in the early 2000s, we had maybe 10-20% in powerlifting was women. Now we're knocking on 40 to sometimes 45-50%,
which is awesome.
It is great.
And just, I mean, for everyone's health, I can't stress enough. I feel bad for people that, because I mean, imagine being sedentary, like, I'm going to get it together this year, right? My New Year's resolution, you hate that. But I'm resolved, I'm going to go. And they go to a gym, and then they get on a treadmill, or they do a class.
Oh, gosh.
And I don't have a problem with those things in absentia, but imagine if they were able to take that drive and knew the benefits of strength training. They didn't have the myths of what strength training was going to do, and they knew how much healthier you'd be, how much more empowered you'd feel, how strong you would actually get just in your daily life. And so
that's one of those things you talked about. The one of those things that you wish you could break in the gym is the cardio aspect.
Yeah.
Get off the daggone treadmills, get off the elliptical, get off of that stuff. There's nothing functional about that. Nobody is, in our daily lives, are we running a quarter of a mile? Are we jogging a quarter of a mile? You think about it, you want everything, even us as strongmen, sprinting is the absolute best thing you can do for strongman. Because we're not going more than 20 seconds.
No.
I mean, let's be honest.
Even the longest events are like 2 minutes for these pros. So it's really 60 seconds is what we're worried about.
Yeah. So how fast can you go in 60 seconds? Get off that treadmill. Get in the weight room. Start carrying a sandbag. Grab a hold of farmers or something like that. That is more realistic to our everyday life. We're always picking up kids. We're always grabbing groceries. We're always moving things. You're always turning side to side, holding on to something, moving something from here to there. You're always lifting stuff over your head. You're always picking things up off the ground. Why do you stay on the treadmill? Get off that treadmill.
Again, I think a lot of it's education, though. I think it really is. There's an idea that you're going to grab a calorie deficit from cardio and out. Like, you're not.
No.
You'll have to starve yourself, and you're going to have to work yourself, and you're not going to sustain it. You're just not, and that's brutal. That's why the Biggest Loser guys struggle, is because they, and like, none insult to them. They don't know better. The wrong people told them what to do, right? The other thing I'll say is, like, several million people. What's your max deadlift?
Oh, that's so horrible. Can we talk about my bench or
What's
squat?
What's your best lifelong deadlift? Let's do that then.
I'm right at 400.
400. How many more women in the world can do that?
Oh, well, there's a lot. I'm not good at
1,000 maybe.
Oh, well, and that's the other thing. We look at things. We have to remember our community is really small.
Yeah, but the world's pretty big.
And the world is really big.
So here's what I'll say. I know that, I don't know, maybe 800 to 1,000 guys in the world can deadlift what I do, maybe less.
Yeah.
Millions of people run a marathon. I don't want to hear about it. That's nothing special about that.
I like your take on that.
And the same with you. I can't
that.
imagine there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when are you going to come to Austin and do our deadlift clinic with him? If that's your worth one.
Whenever he's ready.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really appreciate you coming on. So I know you're not big social media, but where can people find you on social media?
I have my Facebook, Jade Dickens, and then my business account is RSP-TX.
Okay.
And RSP, Relentless Strength Promotions.
Got you. All right.
And some version of that will pop you up. And it's and we do have the kids. I do now have an Instagram for the kids.
Okay.
It is, I have to go with the initials. It's Strong Foundations Youth Strongman League. So it's the initials and 25. So those are the different places. I'm on TikTok. I've got all of them. I'm just not really good at pushing a lot of content, and I've got to get better at that.
All right, I will see you on February 28th. Will I see you at Texas Strongest? Will you be there?
No.
No? Okay.
No, that is...
I wonder if you had an athlete or something that might go. So.
No.
Okay.
I think... What am I doing? That's a sec... I think I'll be in El Salvador.
Okay. Well, I would rather be in... Well, I'm having fun. There you go.
Yeah, I love to travel. If people follow me, they'll know that.
I love it. Good for you. All right, well, that's it for episode 12 of Fiegel Files. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned next week. I don't know who we have next week, but we'll figure it out. Until then, hit subscribe to miss an episode. If you need legal help, visit me at divorcelawyersa.com. Follow my social media platforms. Stay strong. Go Tigers.
Yep.
Thank you so much.